Today's guest is someone who truly lives out loud. Known to many as Dan, Big D, Dan is a definition of owning who you are and standing firm in your journey. His story isn't about perfection, it's about growth, lessons learned the hard way, and showing up every day with confidence and purpose. Dan brings real energy, real conversation, and real perspective. He's someone who understands that success isn't just about wins, it's about resilience, mindset, and the person you become along the way. Whether it's navigating challenges, staying true to yourself, or turning experiences into fuel, Dan has a way of keeping it honest and relatable. This conversation is for anyone who's ever had to bet on themselves, push through doubt, or redefine what their next chapter looks like. We're diving into the mindset, the moments, and the message behind the name. So get comfortable, lean in, and help me welcoming Dan, Big D. Hi, Dan. Welcome to Candid with Claudia.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. Welcome to Miami.
Welcome to Miami, right?
You've been a little busy.
Very busy. Always busy.
Very busy. I love it. Well, I always say, and I've said a lot in season 2, the power of social media. It's how we met. And very interested to hear a lot more about you. Can I call you Dan? Do I call you Big D? What am I calling you?
Whatever you want.
Whatever comes out? All right. Because I saw Big D, so
some people get weirded out about saying that, but some people embrace it, you know?
All right. You've embraced it. All right. Because it's in quotations. All right. Dan, around here we start off like this. What season of life are you in right now in one word?
Growth.
Love. All right. When people hear Big D, they think energy, they think leadership. But before all the business and all the business wins, you were becoming in those early years. Who were you in those early millennial years?
Just a kid trying to find his way. So I actually, in those early millennial years, I just didn't want to be in a place where I was told I had to be. Because we grow up in a way where we're taught the way life is supposed to be versus the way life could be.
What is one thing people automatically assume wrong about you?
That I'm an asshole.
So you're not?
No. They look at me, they go, dude looks like a dick.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Everybody that meets me thinks I'm a bitch. That's the first impression I get.
You know what it is? I think, number one, when you're a confident person, and when you know what you're going after, like, you know, you're result driven, you have a powerful face, like, and you have a powerful tone, and you come in strong. And the world's adapted to a place where they don't like strong.
Yeah.
They like everyone to be timid. But timid people have skinny kids.
Yeah.
You know, you don't make money being timid.
Well, no, and you know what I think then, and that's kind of a segment all in itself, but I find that women who are strong apologize a lot, right? Because they are strong, or they are forceful, or they are an alpha, and they, I'm sorry. And I'm like, so that's a season that I believe I've been in where I don't apologize. This is who I am. And no, I may look strong, but I am not a bitch. I just know where I want to go and I'm trying to get there. And
love it.
I love it. I love it too. All right. So you're not an asshole. Okay. Powerful. We went bankrupt at 24. And then forced you to rebuild who you are, what you are, your identity. What did that moment teach you about who you were versus who you thought you were going to be?
Well, number one, I was chasing me. I was chasing a person I thought I should be and a person I wanted to become. And what I realized for 7 years of my life, I was chasing money. When I went bankrupt, it humbled me a lot to realize that if I chase money, I'm going to chase it for the rest of my life. So I started chasing purpose.
Most people would use or hide their failures. You use them as fuel.
I embrace them.
And what flipped that switch from shame to strategy?
I never had shame. And I think it's something that, you know, when you're a kid, right? When you're young and something bad happens, you fall down the stairs, immediately you don't know how to feel. Then you start crying when your mom or dad is like, oh my God, are you okay, right? So we don't know how to play our emotion. So as you grow up in life, like when you grow up in a place where you're just trying things, doing things, and, you know, setting yourself to your highest limits, you kind of have no place to be like, okay, I'm just going to sit back and feel bad for myself. So I've always pushed myself to my highest limits because I had nobody there to like, hey, are you okay, baby? Like, it was kind of like, hey, do whatever you want to do, because my dad was absent in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I have to figure it out.
You know, I own a school. When I'm not doing this, I'm at a school. And that happens all the time. When kids fall, it is like they cry because they look around and they see who's looking. If you're looking and you're about to run and give attention, they start crying. If there's nobody there, they get up.
Yeah, exactly.
They get up. What would you tell your 20 self-year-old? What candid truth would you tell yourself, your 24 yourself, if he walked in this room, right in the studio right now?
You can't do it alone.
You can't, huh?
Everyone thinks they can.
No.
You can't. No one's ever made it to any place of significance in this world by themselves.
You walked in today with 2 other people, and I walked in today with 4 other people. So there you go, right? Yeah. You can't really do much by yourself. Let's move forward a little, take a step back also at the same time. You had a heart attack when you were 40. Most people, I want to say they imagine it, but they don't imagine going through something like that. What was the hardest truth you learned at that moment that you had to face, and how did you shift your lifestyle, your mindset, and your purpose after that?
Perfect question. So I realized that day, I thought I was dying. This is it. And I really asked myself, what have I really done in the last 4 years of my life to impact other people? And the answer was nothing. So I think a lot of us, we look or ask or talk to God or whoever you want to talk to, and we always talk to them in troubled times.
100%.
But I've always talked to God in good and bad times, and I was always super grateful about the good times. And I always asked for direction. I was going 1,000 miles per hour at this point in my life. And I feel like God has a little game out there, like, how bad do you really want it? Like, I have so many opportunities for you, and I know that one day, I'm going to meet God in heaven, and here's the conversation I want to have. Like, hey, Dan, I gave you so many opportunities, and all I can tell you is that you blew the lid off of it. Because how many people show up to heaven, and they're so happy with their life, but God has presented so many opportunities to them, and they didn't take it. And it's disappointment to what was available for us, and we can't go back and do it again. So that pivotal moment in my life was like, I've made a lot of money. I've lost a lot of money. I'm good at doing that. But what have I really done for other people?
Dan, I'm listening to you and I reflect. And I believe that when people like you speak, it's so other people can reflect a moment in their life. Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate because I do believe that it's moments in life that scare you that make you pivot, right? And how do we teach the people not to wait for those moments? Because for me, it was being diagnosed with cancer. But I shouldn't even take it. For me, it was losing my mother unexpectedly, being diagnosed with cancer. But the one moment that I believe, although those moments were so hard that defined me, was losing a child, right? And for a moment that was really bizarre. So how do we teach people not to wait for that horrible moment in your life that you get off your ass, basically, right? And build and work on your business, work in your relationship, and work on yourself so that when you are before God, you can say, you know what, I gave you all the opportunities, but you didn't wait for your life to really hit, rock bottom to actually, what words of wisdom can you tell that person that hasn't hit rock bottom to not allow that to happen? Or do you think people need to have to go through that to really make that 180?
So it's kind of like a big question.
Yeah, it's loaded.
With a few different answers.
Okay.
I think people somewhere in life give up on their dream.
Yes.
When we're children, so you have school.
Yes.
When you're kids are resilient.
Yes.
They know what they want. They have grit. They go after it. They can't reach, they figure it out. What happens now? You're 16, 17, 18 years old. Where'd it go? What are you told? You know what? You better go get a good job so you can support yourself. You're lucky you have a job. You're lucky you have a car. It takes you from point A to point B. Now we start believing these things and we stop believing ourselves. So where was that point in life where you stopped believing yourself that you could do certain things? Now, when you're a kid, you say, one day I'm going to be a firefighter. One day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to have this car. Then all of a sudden, it turns to someday.
Yeah.
Someday is not a day of the week. So you need to figure out, bring yourself back. What day? When? Time doesn't wait for us. Our most valuable asset is our time, and it's the fastest thing we lose day in and day out. Mm-hmm. So sometimes people learn early on based on things that they're doing, but oftentimes they don't. What I love about rock bottom is it teaches you a lot about yourself. As humans, as adults, we feel like we're indestructible. We have so much pride, so much ego. We don't need help. We got this. All of a sudden, you hit rock bottom. Guess what? You can't go any further. The next place is death. So you got two decisions. Stay there and hope that everyone's feeling bad for you. Nobody cares. Or you get up and you rise. And what you have to look at for that opportunity, losing kids, cancer, heart attack, is not why did this happen to me? It's how can I grow through this, and what should this be teaching me for the next step of my life?
When you went through the heart attack and you take a look at your life now, what is non-negotiable to you?
Number one, my health. Number two, my core values. And number three, my time. My time is super valuable. And I know from that one point in my life, it's very limited. Any day could be the last day. Yeah. So I'm not going to go to bed and say, I should have done this. I work and do everything I got to do. And I put in everything I do. I spend time with my family. And I do everything I'm supposed to do for all the right reasons. And I give everything in my life the attention it needs right now. And I don't put it off till tomorrow.
You know, I have a saying that, and I tell my staff often, probably drive them crazy. But I was like, don't leave for tomorrow. You can do today. Can you just get it done today? Yeah. I have that mindset, and I don't know if that's entrepreneurship that is going through what we've.
Why do you feel like people put it off?
You know, I because they can, and because they're young, and because they think when you're young, you think you have all the time in the world. But you know, I'll never forget my father, who used to wake up at 4:00 in the morning. He used to make me crazy, right? And he'd be like, I'm going to say this in Spanish because that's how he said it. And then I'll translate, oye, mija, un día tú vas a entender que cuando tú estás viejo, tú no tienes tiempo. And he would say, honey, one day you're going to realize that you want to know what? You're older and you have less time. Uh-huh. And I just think that when you're young, you think you're around forever, and you're not.
100%. So I think that people put things off, and I think it's a culture issue. I think it's a surrounding issue. So I learned this early on in my businesses. And I realized when people show up to get paid by the hour, they're going to do what they can for the hour. But when you create a team and you're no longer a boss and you're a leader and you're leading by example and you show them the possibilities. And I started showing my team like, hey, I can get done in 2 hours, 3 hours, what you can't do in 8 hours. Where's the knockoff, right? And then you make people feel important. You create lovable competition between everybody. You start seeing people raise the bar.
You know, I had a quote that I use, and it was called having like the owner or the renter's mindset, right? And so you want to have a bunch of little owner mindsets in your business, because when you have the renter's mindset, you kind of half-ass everything, right? Versus opposed to like just doing it 100% all the time. But it's really, and I don't know if it's a culture that you create, or is it the generations that you hire, right? Because there are times when I hire a Gen Extra, as I am, I feel like we're just built that way. Like that's just how we were raised. But then I interviewed a Gen Z yesterday. She was 17, powerhouse. But then you have another one. So maybe it's not generational. Maybe it's just a matter of building a different team.
It's conditional thinking. It's the way that you lead yourself to believe, and how you're conditioned either through others or through yourself. You know, there are young people who will outperform us.
Oh, yes.
And there are older people who will still outperform us.
So, you know, you talk a lot about, I believe, pain into purpose. And so what do you think was that first step that made you turn your possibility into reality? What did it take you to take that first step? Or what was it?
It was a conversation my dad had with me at a young age when we passed Bon Jovi's house. And I never saw houses that big. And I go, you know, what's that? He goes, that's rich people will never be rich. That was my switch. I didn't like living the way I was living. I was used to it because that's what we had, but I knew that there was more. And then for some reason, somewhere, the light switch went off where it was like, for someone to think that way.
Yeah.
How does that person have that? And you say that they're a different class. We bleed the same. We do all this. And I learned this when we were really young, where it's like, we all breathe the same. We all bleed the same. What's the difference? So I was destined to find the difference.
You know, a few minutes ago, we talked about children, right? And how resilient and how much grit they have. You know, there's also a thing I saw once, and it was, you know, when you're young and you're in a classroom, you want to sit in the front of the classroom, right? You want to raise your hand, right? And then as the years goes on and you're in college, all of a sudden you're sitting in the back of row. Like, what happens to us? Like, what is it culture? Is it generational? Or is it because we've been told no so much? What is it that child that used to sit in front of the class, raising their hand, so excited to be present, eager, ask a question, is the kid in the back of the row?
So there's like a pivotal point in your life where it's like, when you're a kid, you want to be seen, right? And you want to be noticed and you want to be participating. Then all of a sudden, as you get older, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm not as good. Maybe I don't want the attention on me. And something happens, whether it's your home life, people you're surrounding yourself with, things that you're watching, you get to place. Because there are still people, like, if I go to an event, I'm VIP. I don't care what the VIP ticket is. I want to be in the front. I want to know, like, whatever. People are like, oh, my God, how much are the tickets? If they're $5,000 for VIP and they're, $59 for regular, the masses pay for regular. There's no impact there. The impact is always in the front. That's where you get noticed. That's where you connect. And that's where the players play. So until you figure that out, you don't realize it. So when you were in front of the room as a young kid, you were participating. You were doing good. You were recognized throughout your peers. And all of a sudden you sit in the back. You're just a totally different person. You've changed your identity.
You've said something, and gosh, I say it so often. Most people wait for the perfect time and the perfect condition, which that doesn't really exist, right? So, but you choose not to. You talk about a responsibility on a daily basis, about not waiting for the perfect time. Tell me about that.
Well, there is no perfect time. And every minute wasted is a minute lost. So at the end of the day, we try to be so good before we actually attack. But the whole thing is this, is if you believe that you should be doing something, just do it. You'll figure it out, right? You have to suck before you're good. Every single person who's ever done anything of greatness was super bad before they were amazing.
When did you start saying, I'm not rebuilding my income, I'm rebuilding my legacy?
When I was 24, after 2006. Because I put all my eggs in one basket. I chased money. And after I went bankrupt, and I walked home and I saw my two kids sitting there at a year and a half old and 6 months old, and all they wanted was my attention. I realized I'm doing it all for the wrong reasons, right? So people who have children often say, I do it for my kids. If you really sit down and think about it, do you? What do your kids get? What time you have left when you're tired, your exhaustion, you on the phone when you're on vacation if you're a business owner and trying to put out fires because your business has a major grasp on your throat. Are you really doing it for your kids? So there's a point in life where you got to reevaluate what you're doing because our kids grow fast.
Yeah.
And if we don't set the right examples, they're going to get it from someone else.
How old are your children?
21, 19, and almost 16. Hence the reason why I got divorced, because of my daughter. My daughter was my inspiration for divorce.
Which is your daughter, the 21-year-old? 16.
16. Me and my ex-wife had a terrible relationship. My daughter asked me at 9 years old, she goes, Dad, why don't you sleep in bed with Mom? Why do you sleep in my room? And I said, what am I really teaching my kid? If I teach her that this is what love is, she's going to think it's okay. She's going to have the same relationship. 100%. I'm done.
Good for you.
And it took me that, because what does everybody else do? I'm going to stick through it until my kids are 18, 19. That's good. You've already destroyed them. Now they're going to be in toxic relationships like you've been because that's all they know.
Yeah.
I knew if the time was then, it wasn't going to be in the future because this is where everything was spiraling.
I love that what I've heard so far, there's always been a defining moment in your life that's been such a shift or a pivot for you. And for your daughter, to be able to realize, hey, it's my own 2 feet. I got to stand in for my 3 children. That's the moment when your daughter asked you that question. It was like the light bulb.
So I think everything in life that happens to get us to the next level is a defining moment.
Yeah.
So no matter what you're going through,
there's a reason.
What's the reason behind it?
Yeah.
So it's just like, so I had both my knees replaced. I talk to people. They go,
oh my God, stop it. Hold on. I have to cut you off, right? I don't like cutting off. I was just like, I don't know what's going on, but all I complain about lately are my knees. So tell me about having your both knees replaced. Totally not what I was going to ask you.
No,
but like,
fine.
Is that like hard?
It's fine. So let me tell you about this. I was so determined to get my knees replaced. I got one after the other, one after another in 1 month.
What?
And every single person I talk to go, man, it was terrible. I was like, I just wanted my knees replaced and I wanted to be active as quick as I can.
Yeah.
So your thoughts are things, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to therapy. Therapy was 3 days a week. I go, can I come in for 4 days a week? What else can I be doing when I'm not here? Can I be riding the bike? Can I be walking? How can I be more mobile so that I can get back on my feet? What does everybody else do?
The opposite.
Just take my time.
Yes.
Take my time. So listen, you can move slow or you can move fast. But if you move slow, you're going to lose the race because somebody's going to pass you. So everything I do in life, I look at that moment and I go, okay, well, this is going to either destroy me or it's going to excel me. How do I take it to acceleration? And I use those moments to grow through and get to that next point.
How do your knees feel?
Great.
How long did it take?
So by 6 weeks, I was fully flexible in my right, and it took like 7 weeks for my left. I mean, I didn't squat for 15 years. I'm squatting like 300 pounds again.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's amazing. So now you take all this drive, you take all this energy, and you help entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You help them break limits,
Yep.
believe in themselves. What's the limiting belief you had to break within yourself first before you can actually help others do that?
To think I was so good.
Are you?
Nope. Most entrepreneurs think that they're the best at everything.
I know, right?
And they want to do everything. And I always tell people when I bring on my coaching clients, I go, you know, the first thing I realized when my life elevated, I really wasn't good at what I thought I was good at. There was people who were way more qualified than I was, but because I was such a control freak, I didn't allow them to come in. So as a business owner, you own a business. Like, so think about the beginning of your business. You want to do everything. Why? Because it costs money to bring people in. Okay, so you have 5 things.
Because you don't think anybody else can do it better than you.
How selfish is that?
Absolutely.
So
now I have a team of 15.
So say there's 5 things that got to get done every day, and you, the business owner, are doing all 5 things. If you're working 8 hours a day, you're putting in, 2.5 hours each? How effective really are you? Imagine you had one person filling that role. How much more effective will you be? So what's the biggest problem with business owners today? Their business has sucked them in so far. They're an underpaid employee. That's it.
Oh, yeah.
So my job is to take them out of that and make them the CEO.
So when a business is stuck, what do you think needs to be fixed first? Is it the systems? Is it the team? Or is it the leader?
First is the leader, because you can't grow outside of the way you think or you're developed. You'll never grow outside of however much you are, how you think. So we have to change the person first. Then it's the systems and the processes. And then it's the team. So then it's the culture and the core values. And all that stuff has to work.
How do you personally, and how can someone stay disciplined when that motivation disappears?
So motivation is from within. We are self-motivated, right? How many times you hear people go, oh, you motivate me? It's impossible. I can inspire you. I can't motivate you. So motivation comes from within. So based on what you're doing with your team and how your team's excelling, your motivation shouldn't lose. But us as individuals, we got to look at what we're going after. Listen, you're always going to get a flat tire, but if you have 2 flat tires, you're probably not going to get there. Your car comes with a spare for a reason, right? But it doesn't come with 2. So listen, how many times have people put their spare tire on, left the flat one in the trunk, now got a second, now you're stuck.
Screwed.
The opportunity for a spare is to say, okay, listen, you have enough time to go fix it, put it back, and keep going. But in life, we go, all right, we got a flat tire, so now we just kind of drag through it. We don't fix it. So people don't fix things in their life, and this is why they stay stuck. This is why they're unmotivated, because they start blaming. My tire's flat.
What's a misconception you think entrepreneurs have about scaling to multi-million-dollar levels?
That they could do it themselves. It's impossible.
You're passionate about building people.
Love it, yeah.
So who built you?
I've had coaches since I'm 24. You went back and said, hey, like, you asked me one question. Like, if you told your old millennial self, like, one thing, I said, ask for help, right? That's the one thing I didn't do. People go, do you regret going bankrupt? I go, no, I didn't ask for help. I had a mentor early on in my life. He told me he believed in me, but he told me I wasn't ready. I didn't listen because I was a young kid. Ego was on fire.
You know, and I'm not cutting you off there, but in one of our episodes, we talked about mentors and how young kids should always have a mentor. Take a look at where you want to go and who's actually done it and who's actually there, and, get on their radar, hire them as a mentor, find them as a mentor, coach, whatever it is. Because guess what? You're going to, you're going to learn your own way, but somebody's already been there. Take the path of least resistance, and,
It's gonna eliminate so many scars, so many wounds, because if you can listen, it's the cheat code. If someone's willing to teach you what you don't know yet and help you avoid all the loopholes.
Yeah, some people are just, what's the word I'm looking for?
It's pride.
Pride. Yeah. Pride. What's a moment in your personal life, not business, when you had to choose growth over comfort?
When my middle son stopped talking to me for 4 years.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. I got divorced in 2019. 2020, I went to discipline my son. He went to his mom's house. His mom said, "My house, my rules. Dad's house, dad's rules." He never came back. He chose the path of least resistance, and then his mom destroyed his mind about me. My two other kids, she tried doing it with all three of them, but me and my oldest son have an amazing, amazing relationship. We have since I got divorced. She actually moved out of the house while me and him were away on a trip, like behind our backs. I think it damaged him a little bit because she was sneaky about it. And then my daughter, kids are smart. My daughter sees everything, and me and my daughter are super close. But my daughter's still young, so she plays both sides, and I think all the kids play both sides until they start growing up a little bit.
Yes.
But she started really instilling how bad of a person I was to my son because I had no more influence over him. So every single day, in and out, it was like this. So my son literally wouldn't text me, wouldn't talk to me, wouldn't do nothing for 4 years straight, his entire high school career. So I got to make a choice. When you're in pain like that, and people know you're going through it, the worst thing you could say is, "I know how you feel." If you're not going through it, you don't know how to feel, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, he'll come back. Just let him be. If you've never went through it, you can't tell me that advice, right? Same thing with coaching. You can't tell someone something you haven't been through. So what I decided to do was this. I have two other children who love me very much and are willing to take me in and keep me here. I need to focus on them, but I can't forget about him. It was very hard, holidays, going away on vacation, doing things it was like a missing link.
Of course.
It's like a piece of your leg's not there.
And he's the oldest?
Middle one.
Middle one.
It's always the middle child syndrome,
It's the middle child.
So I focused on them, but I still text my son every day. I still was at every single one of his football games for 4 years straight. Because you know what? Like, I wasn't going to give him uneven attention, but I was going to give him as much as I could without damaging my other two.
How's your relationship today?
Good. About 7-8 months ago, he came by my house, and he's never left.
This might answer the next question. What part of your story do people not see on social media? About your children?
Some people know about it because I talk about it in some of my reels. I think they don't see how genuinely loving of a person I am, because I'm a very hard coach. I know what it is to go through it. Just like anything, if you had a basketball coach or a baseball coach or whatever, the one who was the firmest was the best, and that's the way I am in business, and that's kind of my brand and who I am. But when people get to know me, they go, "Man, we thought you were really hard, but you're really soft."
Do you coach businesses or individuals?
Individuals for their business.
For the business. Oh, okay, so you would coach an individual CEO.
The CEO.
Do you have a preference, female or male? Who's harder?
Males.
Really?
Yeah, I only got a couple females. So females, what I see is they want that alpha in their world. They need a push. You take a step as a female to become an alpha and become an entrepreneur. It's hard because of your surrounding. Other women in your life maybe don't own a business. The conversations are different. So you're just kind of looking for that help. But some men are very arrogant. And the thing that happens with men is when you tell them about what's going wrong and why it's going wrong, they often want to justify it. That's what men do. Because listen, whose foot's...
Because if they actually don't justify and listen to what you said, that means they have to change, they accept it, right? Because their perception is their reality.
Exactly.
Yeah. I could see that. But I'm like that, though. I'm a woman.
It's always whose foot's bigger, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing.
All right, let's talk a little bit about being a millennial. I'm a Gen Xer, you're a millennial. So as a millennial, you grew up in a generation where you're told hustle harder, right? What's the advice you wish millennials would unlearn?
Hustle smarter. Because it's not about how hard you work. So my generation is like, oh, I work so hard. I put so many hours in, right?
True.
But it's not about how much you work. It's about the value you bring to the hour.
Yeah. All right. So hustle smarter. I like that. What do you admire about Gen Z or the Gen Alpha, which are the generations that are coming? I believe your 16-year-old is Gen Z, when it comes to purpose or entrepreneurship?
I think they have such an advantage.
Yeah, 100%.
You have literally ChatGPT, man. You have a roadmap on how to have the most successful business, brand, or anything, and it's literally at your fingertips. We had to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
You've got a cheat code.
I mean, millennials grew up with internet for the most part, right?
We had dial-up. It was slow as hell. We didn't use it.
Yeah, well, I'm a Gen Xer, so like
you got mail.
I got AOL, the little man rolling across the screen. You got mail, yeah. When it was like instant messages back then.
MapQuest. I always talk about MapQuest. That was annoying. It would take you 35 minutes.
What about an atlas, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Yes, I believe that Gen Z's and Alpha. I was interviewed by Gen Alpha, and the question she asked me is, "Do you believe Gen Alpha can change the world?" And I said, "No, I don't believe it. I know it will." I said, "If you don't use the resources you have, then." Dumb. Got to. All right.
We used to go to the library.
I know.
To get information. You literally talking to your phone in 30 seconds, you got it.
You got everything. You have everything on your phone.
Yeah.
If every generation sat at one table, what lesson would you be chosen to teach?
I think my resilience and grit. Because my generation was hustle, right? It's like work hard. But it's use it in the right way. So when you talk to most people, you go, hey, what's the most feared animal out there? Everyone says the lion. It's not true. It's the rhino. Why? Because we're taught that the lion is the most feared, but the rhino's actually got the most resilience and grit. Because people just know what they know, but until you go through it, then you really know.
So you've built and sold companies?
Yeah, 3 of them.
Coach countless leaders. But what do you hope people say above all about your legacy?
So this is the reason why I got involved in heavily in coaching, got rid of all my companies, was because no matter what I've done up to the time I was 40 years old, I didn't do anything for anyone else. Maybe if I built a house, built a development, that's cool. But what real impact have I made on a person? So because I've been able to lose money and make money, I was really good at it. How do I teach other people to become the CEO of their company like I did and not the bottleneck? So 15 years from now, when my grandkids or whatever are sitting around a table and there's somebody else there that remembers Big D because they see a YouTube video, hey, that guy helped my grandfather or helped my father.
Love it.
And we have the life we do today because of him.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So what impact do you want this episode to have on someone listening, which I think you might have answered it, who's currently at their lowest point in their life?
Every single thing and every single battle you've ever been through in your life, the hardest point was figuring out how you're going to get through it. Don't figure it out. Trust it. You'll get through it. Yeah. Everything we've always thought that we will never beat, we've always beat. And then the next battle is even harder. So just rise and grow through whatever it is and just be the person that you want to be and fight through it no matter what.
Yeah, I said the other day in an episode, allow yourself to be in the moment and allow yourself to be open to what's happening and what are you learning from the moment.
Exactly.
Most people are so worried about how they're going to get out of it or what are they going to do next, that instead of like, what am I learning from this?
What
that's
other people
why they make
think?
the mistakes.
Who cares what other people think?
What do people think?
You know how much I went through, like bankrupt and all this stuff, and I don't care what people think. It's irrelevant.
Totally irrelevant. You said you were here to grow and to contribute. What's one value you want to leave with our Candid with Claudia community today?
That no matter what life throws at you, just remember, when you go up to the batter's box, very few people hit a home run. You can be the one to hit a home run, but you're going to have to take many swings.
So we ask every guest this. What does possibility to reality mean to your life right now? So I've built this platform in the hope that as people are listening, they're going to be empowered and ignited by something you've said to get off their ass and really make the possibility a reality. And so what does possibility to reality mean to you right now in your life, to the Big Dan? Is it different for Big Dan? Is it different for Big D and Dan, or is it the same?
Just Big D. Yeah.
Big D, all right.
So a possibility reality is that, listen, if it's happening somewhere, it's possible. The reality is you have to make it possible.
Yeah.
You have to believe.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what level of life you're at. If there's anything that you want to do or anywhere you want to be and somebody's already there, you know it's possible. Now you just got to figure out how you're going to get there and take your first step. That's it.
That's right. Take that first step. Someone listening today is standing exactly where you once stood, scarred, broken, stuck. What is the first step they should take today?
Just keep moving forward. So I have a book coming out and a clothing line coming out called Never Broken.
Love it. Okay.
You know, like
You heard it here, never broken.
no matter what you're thrown, no matter what you're hit with, it's okay to fall, but it's not okay to be knocked out. So I always tell people, listen, you can get knocked down. Just don't ever get knocked out. Knocking down is okay. Puts you in your place sometimes. Lets you think.
You get knocked down, but don't get knocked out. We're going to
Correct.
use that as a graphic code. I like that. It's true, though. It's okay to get knocked down. Just don't get knocked out.
And a lot of people, I think, in this world feel like whenever things are happening to them, like, why is this happening to me? It happens to everybody. You know what I mean?
Right?
Everything that you've gone through, somebody else has gone through,
true.
you know?
Yeah.
So it's just who rises through it and who becomes the victim of it.
That is where the story comes from.
Yeah.
We're all going to have highs and we're all going to have lows. But the reality is this, I believe, is that you learn most when you're at your lowest.
Yep.
You learn most when you're actually going through a rough patch in your life. We don't really learn when we're happy, because when we're happy, we just think that's the way it's supposed to be. But it's great at the moment. Enjoy it, live it, and be open to what's happening. But we learn most when we're actually struggling.
Become the victor, not the victim.
So I always love ending my episodes with some candid rapid fire, but I'm going to do something a little different with you. I'm going to give you an option. All right. So I'm going to do a candid rapid fire, which you have to be candidly truthful, right? But I'm going to give you, what would you like me to do candid rapid fire on, okay? Would you like me to do it in identity and mindset, business and leadership, health and lifestyle, fun millennial energy, story or resilience, possibility to reality, or legacy and lifestyle?
Resilience one.
The resilience one. All right, let's go to that. Story and resilience. All right. Bankruptcy or heart attack, which changed you most?
Is it like a short question?
No, you got a quick answer, one or the other.
Heart attack.
Pain or purpose, which came first for you?
You said pain? Oh, pain or purpose?
Pain or purpose, which came first for you?
Pain.
Rebuild or reinvent?
Rebuild.
Greatest lesson rock bottom taught you, one word.
Not the, I can't be one word. Not the end.
Not the end, okay. If you could erase one moment in your life, what would it be?
I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it, and there's any, because you've loved every moment. At least you've learned from them.
I've learned from everything. The only moment in my life which really impacted me when I was young was my grandfather passing away. But that's something I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
But nothing really.
We're going to do another segment because you were too fast, and then we're going to stop. All right, okay, ready? All right. We're going to do, and I'm going to pick this one. Okay. Business and leadership.
Okay.
All right. Systems, teams, or mindset. What breaks first in a business?
What breaks first? Mindset.
One thing every entrepreneur must stop doing.
Thinking they're the best.
One thing every entrepreneur must start doing.
Creating a team and a culture.
Your leadership style in 3 words.
Driven, purpose, execution.
Hire slow or fire fast?
Fire fast.
Dan, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you for making the time. Thank you for driving out here. I know you've been busy, but I'm incredibly excited about this collaboration of meeting and doing this together, and for sharing your story, and for being so candid, because people like to hide behind their scars or like to hide behind their failures, but you're open, you're bold, and I accept that. And you know what? For the whole world, he's not an asshole. All right. Thank you all for tuning in to Candid with Claudia. And do not forget to subscribe to Spotify and YouTube, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok. And Big D or Dan, whatever you want to know him by, I want to thank you so much. You were fantastic. Oh, wait. And what's the clothing line you're coming out with?
Never Broken.
Never Broken. Any last words you want to leave?
Yeah. If anyone needs anything, I help people. Like, you don't have to be my client. If anyone needs anything, check me out on Instagram, Big Dan Official. Question whatever you have. You see, like, that's me. You're not dealing with anybody else but me, and I'll help anybody.
Got it. You all heard it here first. You all have a great one. Thank you, and stay tuned.
Awesome.